Welcome to HeavieTalk. I'm your girl, Heavie. I am back with another episode of HeavieTalk, here to serve you up some more straight talk with no chaser. We are hours away from the 2023 Juneteenth Business Expo, where you can shop exclusively for 1865 in honor of Juneteenth. That's really what this episode is all about. We're going to get into the expo, telling you about a few of my favorite vendors. I have a few favorites, I ain't gonna lie. We're going to be getting into a few of the products, and I'm going to tell you the meaning behind Juneteenth. That's not all. I have to talk about the talk of the TL, the talk across the news. Big T, President Trump, has been indicted. T is the first president to be indicted on Fed charges. WTF is going on. And since I'm all about keeping it fair, I never talked about Joe falling on stage. So I have to talk about Joe Biden falling on stage and what some possible concerns are about a possible next term if he is to be granted one. Like, we have to get into it. And last but not least, I want to get into sports. Shannon Sharpe is gone. He's no longer on Skip's show because that was Skip's show. So we're going to talk about that. And congratulations to the Denver Nuggets because they won the NBA championship. Kudos. I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch it. Boring, snooze fest. All of that and more on this episode of HeavieTalk, Straight Talk with No Chaser. But first, you know I have to give you your word of the day, serving up some good old inspiration. Your word for today is detriment. Never do anything to your own detriment. It's great to show up for others, but make sure you're showing up for yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. Again, this is another big lesson that I had to learn. I feel like every episode I'm like, this was a big lesson, but I've learned quite a few big lessons. This was another one. I'm someone who absolutely hates saying no. I feel so bad. I'd be like, oh no, they're not going to like me. It's going to be a fallout. I just hate it. So 9 times out of 10, if somebody asks me something, it really don't matter what it is, as long as it's not illegal, immoral, I'm gonna say yeah, like just to help out, just to do the best that I can. I'm always willing to just extend a helping hand. A lot of times that I'm saying yes though, it's when I know that I have other things that I could be doing or that I'm supposed to be doing. I could just be really tired. It could just essentially, I could be doing something to my own detriment when all of this could be solved if I could just say no. So that's something that I'm learning. Even though I might want to help out somebody, I can't help them out if I'm not even helping myself. That goes back to the famous saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't help somebody else out if you're not even good. Like, you got to start with yourself first. So that's my word of the episode of the week. Focus on yourself. It is really good to show up for others, but show up for yourself. Take care of yourself. It's not no maybe. It is very hard telling people no sometimes, especially when you love them and you want to help out and just, see them win or, see them grow. But sometimes you have to think about you because unfortunately you have to be a little selfish sometimes. You are the most important thing. So take care of you and never do things to your own detriment. That's the word for today. I hope that it was helpful. Now before we get into the expo, because trust me, we will be getting into the expo. We all decked out. We got the little banner, the black blah. I have my check because during the expo, I will be giving a scholarship update. So I just wanted to let you know what the vibes were in the background. So that's what it's all about. So first, let's get into, I call him Big T because he's just a real goofball. So why not give him a goofball name? So that's why I call him Big T. Big T has been indicted. He was in court. That's why I'm pausing, because this whole escapade, I have not been on this earth for too many years, so granted that, but I've never seen anything like this ever in my life when a U.S. president is in a courtroom, got 37 plus charges. Like, what is going on? And then when you get into his charges, if you know what he's charged with, he is charged with retaining compromised documents that contain the country's most highly sensitive secrets. This is from the Washington Post. article that I read. Now, I seen this really good thread about just putting it in like in normal people's terms. If you don't know all of the legal jargon, I seen this thread that really broke it down. So I'll share that on Instagram and on Twitter. But this article that I read said essentially that Trump was hiding or keeping highly sensitive documents. Now, you may think, and this is what this thread that I read said, you may think that, okay, it was an honest mistake. Honest mistake, he got a lot going on. Maybe he didn't know so many different documents. Maybe he didn't know that this particular one was sensitive. Maybe, he didn't get the notice when the people told him to, bring it back. All of those things, maybe you could possibly think. What I've come to understand is that's not the case. First of all, the man was warned on multiple occasions. He wasn't just told one time. He was told, his team was told multiple times to give the stuff back. Second of all, if you're going to break the law and you decide you at least going to take it and you're going to keep it, at least keep it somewhere safe. Another big part of this case was he was completely reckless with highly sensitive documents. He had them like in a bathroom and like random rooms and at his mansion. Like, you can't keep highly sensitive documents stored in your bathroom. Get a safe. You got all of this money. You can't invest in a good safe. You can't put it like in an underground bunker. You keep it like in an open bathroom, like in boxes. The picture that was on Twitter, I thought that it was fake because it was like circulating. This was the bathroom that Trump had the documents. It was not fake. That was the real photo. A whole bunch of bins in a bathroom by a toilet of highly sensitive documents. Like, a U.S. president. This goes back to other people's concerns that he was just never taking this seriously and he didn't see the seriousness of this job. Like, this is not a fake job. You're not fake president of the fake USA. You are the real president of the whole 50 states. You can't just hide highly sensitive documents in a bathroom. The man had highly sensitive documents. I don't want to talk too much about Trump, though, because I said I want to keep it fair, and this episode is really about the expo. So I want to talk about Biden because keeping it fair. A couple weeks ago, Biden fell down on stage. Now, when he fell on stage, a lot of people said, not again. Because if you can recall, not that long ago, he tripped or he stumbled on stage. Then quite, regularly when he speaks or have speeches, he stumbles over his words. Now, I'm not criticizing him for that because I stutter as well. So people that stutter in speech, people that, I don't know the exact term, they've talked about like this is a normal, I don't know if it's called a disorder. So like you can't really fault him or hold that against him because he stutters. Like a lot of people that are, I don't know, do you think that he stutters because he stutters that he's not highly educated? Because I was going to say quite a few highly educated people may stutter or have a speech impediment. So I don't really get the correlation there. But some people did bring up he stumbles over his words, then he's also falling on stage and he's old. So that has been said. That was said when he fell the first time. Some people, okay, he fell one time, cutting him slack. When he failed his second time, even I was like, okay, he is getting a little bit old and the man is falling. Not he fell, he is falling on multiple occasions. I said this in my head and I got on Twitter and then I went to my different news sources of places I go to get news, which is not always mainstream. Like Roland Martin, I always mention him. And he mentioned, and then I went to go find an article that there was a sandbag on stage. And that is why Joe Biden trips. Now, in the article I read, the article did quote somebody that's on Joe Biden's team that said that there was a sandbag on stage, and that's why Joe Biden fell. But nowhere in the article did they explicitly say, like, this is why there was a sandbag on stage. I feel like that was intentionally left out. And the news source that I got this article from, which is the Huffington Post, that's not necessary. That's not even what you call it, right wing, I guess you could say that. So I don't I don't know why they wouldn't mention that. And then I've looked at other outlets and they have not mentioned that as well, that there was a sandbag on stage and that could be why he tripped. I feel like that's being intentionally left out because it's just trying to build on this Joe narrative. And I don't necessarily like it when it's not being entirely true. If you're going to speak something, just say the truth. If you just don't like Joe, or somebody just say you don't like them, but just don't leave something out or just try to misconstrue something. And I feel like this is being misconstrued because I seen the video where he fell, and in the video he was pointing to something on the stage, and in another angle of the video you saw that the actual sandbag, and in the most popular video you just saw him getting up and then pointing at something on the stage. So let's talk about the real truth. And I'm not even 100% Joe based on what's been going on, but if we're going to keep it a buck, let's keep it a buck. Some people, though, is not really feeling Joe. Like I said, some people just like, I just I'm not feeling Joe. Stephen A. Smith went on Fox News. Now, it's a couple things that I could say about him going on Fox News. I would never go on Fox News, but then I could be being hypocritical because I watch Fox News and I read Fox News articles because I want to be informed. I don't think it's a good thing to be necessarily so on one side or only get your information from one side. I feel like you need a well-rounded point of view because different sources say different things, say it in different ways. So I just like to get the full scope of things, and then I just take from that and I have my own insight or have my own opinion or stance on something. So I just still, even though I watch it and I read it, I don't, for information purposes, I don't know how I feel about going on their platform. That's just, to me, that's putting money in their pockets or putting my name link with them, and I'm not really a big fan of that. Nevertheless, Stephen A. Smith did go on Fox News, and he was really discussing essentially Joe Biden in the upcoming presidential election, because I feel like it's going to be another one of those very, very important ones, just like Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and just like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and just like Joe Biden and Donald Trump is going to be one that's very, very pivotal in what's going to happen in American history. So Stephen A. Smith went on Fox and he was essentially saying that he's not really a big fan of Joe, and that Joe has been a tad bit disappointing. Actually, this is the exact quote that Stephen A. said. I said, I think there's an abundance of people who can do better. I'm looking at him and I don't like what I see. I'm not impressed with what I see, and I've been very concerned with what I've seen, and the fact that he's going to be 82 years of age at election time. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. Some people really do have valid concerns about his age and what maybe or maybe not has gone on since he's been in office. Now, this is not a political podcast, so I'm not going to go on a long rant about this. The reason why I brought this up is because when Stephen A. Smith said what he said about Joe Biden, there were quite a few people who jumped on him. And when he said what he said, Stephen A. Smith, he also said that if he would back anybody, he would pick Republican Chris Christie. So when Stephen A. said that, and he said he would back Chris Christie, which is a Republican, and he also said comments which you could be looked at as negative about Joe Biden, quite a few people jumped on Stephen A. Smith, and I do want to add a lot of those people were Black people, essentially saying, why would you not want to vote for Joe? Because if you're not going to vote for Joe, then you're going to let in the other side or a Republican. That's what a lot of people were saying. The reason why I want to bring this up, because I think that is an ongoing problem. I don't think that there's anything that Stephen A. said that was disrespectful. I think that Stephen A. was expressing valid concerns that a lot of people had. I don't think that there's anything wrong with expressing valid concerns. I think that's an issue in the Black community, that you can't even speak about maybe a concern that you have with a candidate because we have to be on that side, because we can't let in the other side because we have to be so Democrat. Stephen A. in his opinion, has valid concerns. Like, the man is getting old. We've seen him falling on stage. He's going to be a bit older. I'm too under the belief, not just Joe Biden's general. I'm speaking on a general level. I don't know if anybody that's pushing 80 should be able to be president. I feel like that's maxed out. Like, no, I think there needs to be some type of age, limit there, where you, just like, you got to be like, I think 44 minimum. I feel like you should be max, like, you can at this age. So I don't think Stephen A said anything wrong. I think that's a problem. That even goes back to, now, granted, Ice Cube partnered with Trump, but even when Ice Cube came out and he was talking to Trump and that and the Republicans, people had a problem with that. Like, and he said, and Ice Cube said, we should be sitting at every table so that we can get the best deal. We can't get the best deal if we don't want to sit at these tables. Stephen A is simply saying, I would be looking at Chris Christie because Joe Biden is not doing what's best for me, or I don't see him doing a lot. And they crucify him. Like, this man is simply giving his opinion. So I think that that's something that Black people, I don't know if we can work on that, but we shouldn't be so gung-ho about being on one side, whereas we don't hold our people on that side accountable and actually get things done. Like, we should still be able to hold them accountable and still be able to speak out and say, Joe has not been doing anything since he has become president, and I feel like that's a problem. Not 100,000 people crucifying him. Well, you blah, blah, blah. Like, the man gave his opinion, and he's standing on that, and I stand with him because, Joe, you fall again, and I'm gonna have a problem. Now, let's get into the expo. We are hours away from the 2023 Juneteenth Business Expo, presented by The Black Blog and HeavieTalk Media. I have on a HeavieTalk, not a HeavieTalk Media hoodie. I should have put on one. So I just want to tell you about a couple of the vendors who are my favorite. Because, yes, I'm not going to lie, I have a couple favorites. But it's nothing wrong with that, is it? So I'm giving you a little bit about the expo if you don't know. During the expo, which is virtual, again, it is virtual. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. You can shop exclusively for 1865 from a wide variety of Black-owned business from across the country. I got 12 vendors with a whole bunch of products. Check them out, support, see what they're working with. They are not going to disappoint you. So let's get into a couple of these vendors. I want to start with Stated. I love me some Stated. So I connected with Stated, I think about a year ago, when for August I did a National Black Business Month series, which is coming up. So if you want to share your story, please visit the black.blog and sign up by July 17th. So when I did the first National Black Business Month series, she signed up and I was able to meet her and learn about Miss Tony. That's the founder of Stated. I met Miss Tony and I found out about Stated, what the mission is, and I absolutely fell in love with Miss Tony and the mission of Stated. And the big part, Aggie Pride. Miss Tony is an Aggie alum. Love it, long way. So I just fell in love with her and her mission and her business and everything that she's about. So definitely get in tune with Stated during the expo. Shop for 1865. She'll be selling cool caps. Also, Unique Perspective LLC. I love this one because this business is it's focused on mental health. So they sell mental health pins that just emphasize the importance of mental health and mental wellness. So mental health is very important to me as a mental health advocate and someone that struggles with mental health sometimes. I love this one. I will be copying me a pin, so you get you one too for 1865. Next up, Pre-College Solutions. Now, Pre-College Solutions, I want to shout out to them because they applied for the expo back in January. That is some good determination right there. And I love the pride of saying, I'm getting in there. They applied in January and they followed it all the way through up until now, and they are officially a vendor. So I absolutely love that. I love the support. So Pre-College Solutions essentially helps teens, high schoolers, families get ready for college, because It is a true fact that a lot of times we wait until junior, senior year, and then we start getting ready for college. You should be getting ready for college like eighth grade, freshman year, at least doing college visits. So pre-college solutions focuses on getting you ready for college and help you secure those scholarships because who wants student debts? Like nobody wants to be dealing with that. Shady B fans. Who don't need them a good hand fan? That's what Shady B said. Shady B fan sells, nice hand fans, and for Juneteenth, they have a special Juneteenth themed hand fan. So go check them out because again, I will be copying me one of those as well. And last but not least, back on the wellness, and I love me some candles. Scorpio Candle Co. will be selling you some fresh candles. The candle that they were selling during the expo is the lemon candle, and they are made with all natural products so they don't burn your walls. Keep all of your house walls and everything looking just like it was before you lit it on fire and burned it. So those are my favorite vendors. Check them out during the 2023 Juneteenth Business Expo. You can shop exclusively for 1865. To learn more about the expo and to shop, visit juneteenthbusinessexpo.sites. Now let's get into the history of Juneteenth. Now you might not know, or hopefully you do know, Juneteenth officially was made a federal holiday in 2021. Joe Biden signed a bill into law that made a federal holiday. So check which job you might have Monday off, because I know that I sure do. Shout out to my job. My bosses are the best. You the best. So back in 1865, on June 19th, Union soldiers officially arrived in Texas with the news that slaves were to be freed. Now, this came almost 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. So this is why Juneteenth and this whole history, like part two, is such a big deal, because slaves were still in captivity well after the Emancipation Proclamation, because news hadn't traveled and hadn't got around yet in other races, and bad reasons why they didn't let the slaves be free. So Juneteenth is that's when Union soldiers officially declared and officially came and announced that, okay, the Emancipation Proclamation has been signed and all slaves are to be free. So that's what Juneteenth celebrates: African American freedom and heritage. So join us in celebrating Juneteenth, whether it's through the expo. Just check out your local town. Quite a few towns are doing different Juneteenth events, or just sit in the house and just chill, because ain't nowhere safer than being in the crib. But I will say, y'all better get it busted for Juneteenth, just like I know y'all finna get it busted for the 4th of July. If y'all don't, I'm gonna have something to say. I'm definitely gonna have something to say. Now let's get into sports. I want to say a big congratulations to the Denver Nuggets for winning the 2023 NBA championship. Now, I'm going to keep this short and sweet because I didn't watch. It was a snooze fest for me. It was not interesting. I just want to say congrats. Congrats to those boys. You guys did an amazing job, I heard. And I'm a little bit biased and not being completely sincere because I love me some Jimmy Butler. And I want him to get I feel like he went out there and he showed out. Some people said he was not playing his best. I feel like Jimmy Butler always gets buckets, okay? He led the team pretty much for the whole NBA playoffs. So if he have a couple of bad games, cut the man a little bit of grace, will you? Anyhow, congratulations to the Nuggets. And Joker is funny. This man was not trying to go to that parade, but I understand he may be a little homebody. He don't want to be outside, a whole bunch of people in the sun. He just want to chill in the house with his family, get him a nice drink, whether that's water, and just with his trophy and chill back and relax. He want to be out with all these random people. I completely understand, Joker. I completely understand. Now let's double back. Let's double back because we're talking about the NBA Finals. I told y'all a couple pods ago about a soccer player that endured some racist chants. I mean, in Spain, the fans were being absolutely racist. They were calling him a monkey. They were making monkey sounds. So I talked about this, even though I know nothing about sports. I was sounding a little bit ignorant, I'm sure, trying to say those names, but I did my best. I want to talk about this again because I was watching one of the games, and then I said, "Is that him? Is that a soccer player?" And then I got on Instagram and I seen ESPN and they tagged the picture of him. I was like, that was him. So the player, Vinicius, I believe that's how you say his name, he was at the NBA he was at an NBA game. And I went on his Twitter and he was flicked up. He took a picture with Jay-Z. What I will say is I love Jay-Z. I love that about Jay-Z. When something is going on with somebody Black, it seems like it don't matter if they from the US or not. All you need is just to be Black. Jay-Z is going to show up for you. Not too long after this soccer player who is only like 22 years old, he's a young Black man, was dealing with these racist racist chants. And let me add that not the governor, the president, I believe, of the country where it took place in was trying to say that the soccer player was lying. I'm getting healing. He was trying to say that the soccer player was lying and that there was no actual footage of this racist chants going on. So that's when one of, I think, the soccer players' fans found a different compilation of like different videos, and then the soccer player tagged the actual president in the post and said, "So I'm lying. It's a whole video of this." So it was more to that story. So the president called him a liar. It was a lot that was going on. And next thing you know, he flicked up with Jay-Z. Not too soon. Watch she gonna be signing Rock Nation. Just wait. So I love that about Jay-Z. Shout out to Jay-Z for that. Because you see a young Black man that's going through it and you say, let me go help you out. Let me come sit with you. Let me take a picture with you. Because a picture in itself, just like I seen it and I said, wow, okay, he with Jay-Z. He not to be played with, something coming. He's backed by people. I'm sure other people say, okay, he with Jay-Z. We might need to go say sorry. As you should. Last but not least with sports, I want to talk about Shannon Sharpe. His last show on Skip's show. Yes, I said it right. That was Skip's show. And that's all I want to talk about in regards to Shannon. One thing I will say that stood out to me is I think Shannon knew that this was going to happen. Like, he knew that he was going to have to leave Skip sometime soon. I think so because that's when he started going so hardcore with his podcast. He had the visuals going, his setup was looking nice. He started having some really good guests. He had started having some really good interviews. So that tells me now, seeing how everything that already played out, maybe he knew something was going to happen where he was not going to be on this show anymore. So he said, let me create my own network. Let me have my own platform so I don't have to worry about this being my only source of income or this being my only platform. So shout out to Shannon. I'm glad that he was able to just move on. He was able to keep his podcast, even though he's no longer on that network. Now, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the episode. I know. I really just wanted to talk to you about the expo and let you know that it's time to shop for 1860 and the 5. That was it, keeping it short and the sweets. So let's get into all the things that had me like WTF. Let's start with the viral video, the TikTok video of the white lady that walked in a Black man's house. So apparently the Black man and his friends, they had been having like a rooftop concerts, and this white lady, she said in the video that she knocked on the door, I'm not buying. She said she knocked on the door twice, nobody answered. So she proceeded to come in the house. He was videoing her. She was upstairs. Like, she didn't just come just in the open air, just walk in, look in. No, she walked upstairs. He was taping her. She was walking downstairs, walking out the front door. What is going on with people? Now, if he was in the stand your ground state and something would have happened to her, then what? Lady, you walked up in my house. If I'm renting this or not, I am currently occupying this property for this set amount of time. Don't come up in my spot. Like, are you ill? That's not okay. Something else that had me like WTF. This world has officially gone mad. I'm going to read you directly from the article. A worker at a Chicago company that distributes human body parts for medical research has filed a police report after finding 3 severed heads at his work desk, and what he claims is an act of retaliation. The tea is, this nice man told these people, well, spoke out against how they were storing the medical parts and how they was conducting, just handling body parts as a whole. After he spoke out, 3 severed heads were found at his work desk. What I'm hearing is he finna file a lawsuit, discrimination, because he's a Black man, let me add that, and emotional distress. That is distressing to me that I get to work and it's 3 severed heads that's in my desk. Like, what is going on with y'all? That is not okay. What's in the TF? A Chicago company at that. Chicago, my home city. What's going on? No. Something else had me like WTF, and I'm actually quite sad about this. Pat, he's leaving Wheel of Fortune. No. First, Jeopardy. Rest in peace. Jeopardy is not the same no more. Jerry Springer. Rest in peace. Now Pat is leaving Wheel of Fortune. What is happening to my childhood? Like, what is going on? And the host the potential host that I seen, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling no Ryan Seacrest, and I'm sorry, I'm not feeling no Steve Harvey. I'm just not. Find somebody else. I'm not feeling it. The end of an era. Going back to something else that I talked about on past episodes, something is going on with the earth. This is why I'm glad the animals love me. Again, the orcas are attacking boats. This one particular captain said this is the second time he's been ambushed by orcas. Now, I told you about this on the last podcast episodes. The orcas are targeting the different boats and they are sinking them. They're spreading the word. Orcas are spreading the word across the world. It's not just in one location. In different locations in the world, orcas are sinking boats. Again, what's going on? In keeping with the planet, around 30 killer whales were spotted in Montego Bay last weekend. 30 killer whales. They were just all like crowded around, just like linking up. I think they were having a meeting because we got them messed up. That's what I think. The orcas are sinking boats. The killer whales, 30 deep, are having a meeting. Like, and in my next one, a potentially dangerous asteroid the size of a bridge. The size of a bridge is expected to pass through Earth. So this is already passed. The article, this was a couple days ago. The asteroid already passed by Earth. So we got orcas, sinking boats, killer whales, 30 deep, linking up. An asteroid the size of a bridge is passing by Earth. We had the orange haze that was over the DMV area in New York. We got Palestine, Ohio, where the train derailment. I didn't tell y'all, I forgot last episode because we had a lot to talk about each episode about the strawberry moon. In some cities, you can actually see a strawberry moon in the sky. And I'll try to remember next episode and tell y'all what the actual meaning of it and where the term strawberry moon comes from, because it has meaning, but I make sure that I get it right before I mention it. So it's a lot that's going on with the environment. Something that I didn't know, and I thought this was like fake news. I honestly did. Did y'all know that the Central Park Karen allegedly was sleeping with a married man? And allegedly, this man asked her for $65,000 to allegedly pay for a second side chick to get an abortion. What? So while this lady was out here harassing Black men, She was allegedly with a married man, and she allegedly paid for his side chick to get an abortion. Now, I thought this was fake news until I seen an actual article linked to this. Why was this not on ABC News? Like, why were we not talking about this? Why was this not global? This should have been a global. So you out here harassing this Black man and you paying for a married man's abortion. Not that there's anything, your body, your choice. Y'all probably some of y'all going to stop listening probably right now, if that's fine, because you're not supposed to be here anyway. I am pro-choice, like your body, your choice. Honestly, do what you please. So it's not about the fact that it's an abortion. You already is a side chick. Like, this man is already married. So you paying for another woman's abortion? Like, no, you should tell him pay for it yourself. Like, you have to pay. I'm not paying for it. You got to pay for it. Why do you think I'm finna pay for it? No, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Last but not least, a couple more things that's going on with the environment. I didn't even know about this, and I'm going to have to do more research to see the demographic that was most affected by this, because if it is what I'm thinking it is, I got a big problem. So there was an incinerator in Detroit that finally was demolished. Now, this incinerator has been around for decades, and the people of the town have complained. These people have gotten medical issues like asthma because of the fumes that happen, because what they do, the waste is taken there to this incinerator, and it's like burned up, and all the toxins, I guess, are just infumed into the air. And the local residents who stay really close have had to go to the hospital, and they've been diagnosed with different medical conditions. So for decades, residents have been saying, please get this up out of here. It's not healthy for us. So finally, after years and years of them saying something, it's finally been demolished. Now, the part that really stood out to me is that because it was really bad health-wise for people, some people started moving out of the neighborhood. Like, they just left because it's not good for my health. I can't live here. I got kids, we can't, kids be like really sensitive, like to the air, kids and old people. So they have to move. So old people move, but that's not just that. Businesses had to move. That's what the article mentioned. So while quite a few businesses moved out of this neighborhood, you know what moved in? A jail was built. Sometimes you gotta do a mic drop, and I call myself doing a mic drop because that's why I said I'm gonna have to go back and do my research, because residents have complained and said, get this up out of here. It is not good for our health. And for years, they were ignored. And people left and businesses left. But in this time, businesses left, but a jail was built. Let me go see what the demographic that was really affected and who really live in that town, because if it's who I think it is, this is going to be a big story that the Black blog and HeavieTalk Media is going to have to cover, because it's sounding a bit fishy. Systematic racism is what I'm hearing here. That's what I'm hearing. Anywho, that wraps up this episode of HeavieTalk, Straight Talk with No Chaser. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed recording it. We are hours away from the 2023 Juneteenth Business Expo. Get ready to shop for 1865. Go check out the catalog. Here's last year's catalog. This is the print copy. You can also go check out the digital copy that's available on JuneteenthBusinessExpo.site. So I'll just flip you through a couple of the pages. We're real official around here. See a couple of my vendors from last year. So you can also go shop them as well. Fit Journey and ERP. And we also have Roxanne I Need by Notes. And then we also have next one is Roxanne I Need, who is also a vendor again for this year. So Go check out the expo. Go shop Black owned. Support, support, support. Go celebrate you some Juneteenth this weekend. Please be safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. You matter. Mental health matters. Black lives matters. This was Heavy Talk, straight talk with no chaser. Catch you next week, same place, same time.